What's up guys, Enjoy here, how you guys doing? So, today's video is gonna give you 28 beginner tips for Wildstar. If you're a veteran player or you have been playing the game for a long time, this video is probably not gonna teach you anything new. But if you're a returning player, a new player, or a player that is trying to prepare himself for free to play, this video just might be for you. Anyways, if you find any of these tips useful or you like the video or anything, please make sure to like the video and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Alright guys, let's get started. Number 1, two-step authentication. So, you want this thing for two reasons. The number one reason is obvious. It keeps your account safe, way safer than it was before using it. And the second reason is because you get rewards. You get prestige boost, you get renown boost, and you get even XP boost, 2% XP boost, which is kind of a big deal combined with other XP boost when leveling. And when you actually type the code in, you can save your IP for 7 days, so it's not really that much of a hassle to type the code because you only have to do it every 7 days. So I strongly suggest using this because you even get a mount out of it, so yeah, definitely worth it. Number 2, character inventory. So every time you get something from an event, or perhaps you bought the deluxe edition of the game and you get the extra mounts, or perhaps you assisted the anniversary event and you get the pet, everything, all those type of items will go to your account inventory, which can be found on the UI on the bottom left. So here is your account inventory, and this is account wide, meaning that every character you have can access this. Number 3, your challenge log. You can access and go out in the world to complete any type of challenges you want to get rewards and whatnot by pressing by default keybind pressing L, and you go to your challenge log, and here you can find every single zone in the game and all the challenges in all those zones, and you can click on them and locate them, and it will show you an arrow and how far it is. Number 4, character chop chop. So in Wildstar you can recustomize your character like if you were just creating it right now. So you can change everything that you could when you actually created it just by going to the character chop shop, and you can find it by asking the guards for appearance modifier or something like that. So yeah, you can change everything that you could when you originally made the character, which is pretty nice. Number 4, chat channels. In Wildstar you can create custom chat channels, and you can join a chat channel by typing /ch join and then the name of the channel. For example, a very popular channel on basically every server and every faction is /ch join global. So basically it's the global chat. Number 6, starting zones. So unlike I said in my last leveling guide video, you can actually choose the starting zone you start from, even though you skip the Arcship tutorial. So when you first arrive into the game, you will see a spaceship next to you. You can go interact with that spaceship, which will give you the ability to go to the other races' starting zones. So for example, if your friend did another race than you and he starts in the other zone, you can use the spaceship to go and join him, unlike I said in my earlier video, my leveling guide video. Number 7, circles. In Wildstar, additionally to guilds, you can join circles. Circles are almost like guilds, but not really. You don't have the perks that the guilds get, you don't have the news and announcement board that the guilds get, you don't have the guild announcement that the guilds get. It's basically just a big group of friends or a big group of people to do specific tasks. For example, people have made mining circles, PvP circles, and dungeon circles. So based on those you can kind of understand what people are using circles for. To find circles, you will press O by default, then you will see circles, and here you can see the circles you are in, and here you can see, here you can create your own circle. You can name your own circle, you can name the master title, the council title, member title, and you can join up to 5 circles on top of one guild. Number 8. So this is an area that you should really know of. This is, in my opinion, the best area to start the day when playing Wildstar. So this area is the area that has the contract board, which give you daily contracts, the PvP daily mission guy, which give you a PvP daily mission, the ship hand daily mission guy, which give you a ship hand daily mission, the adventure daily guy, and the dungeon daily guy. So in my opinion, this is just a really good place to start the day by picking up all those daily quests and getting them done all throughout the day. The easiest way to find this area is by asking the guards to lead you to the contract board. Number 9, the all-in menu, or the everything menu, whatever. In my opinion, this is the best advice that I can give you. If you're looking for anything in Wildstar, your character panel, your mounts, your pets, your options, anything, you can find them right here at the bottom left menu. You click here and literally everything in the game is here. If you're looking for something, it's here. Every single thing is here. So yeah, this is one of my best advices, so keep this one in mind, guys. Number 10, this is a quick one. Ghost map mode. So you open up your map, you have this icon here called toggle ghost mode. You click it and your map becomes transparent. So this is pretty useful sometimes when you're looking for some places outside in the world. Number 11, this is an easy one. You can ask the guards for direction in capital cities. So when you ask the guard, this menu will pop up and you can ask basically for any directions. This is especially useful for like these transport areas, which are really hard to remember. Number 12, hold to cast. So you can either play Wildstar without using hold to cast, which will mean that, for example, when I hold my quick draw ability, I keep holding the button down, it only shows me the telegraph but it doesn't shoot, and when I release, then it shoots. So I hold it, nothing happens, I release, it shoots. Or you can enable hold to cast from the combat options. Hold down a key to continuously cast an ability, and now when I hold my button, it will automatically cast again and again. And one thing really worth mentioning here is that a lot of raiders has noticed a significant DPS increase by using this hold to cast thing. So keep that in mind. Number 13, so housing quest. You get it at level 14 by going to your main city, and when you go to your main city you will get a quest pop-up that will lead you to the Protostar guy, and you will have a little quest chain to do, and then you will get your housing. And once you get your housing, you will also get your 20-minute cooldown teleport that you can use anywhere in the world. Number 14, imbuements. So imbuements are basically quests that are attached to item pieces, and when completed will give your items with some stats. So it's a pretty neat system. I haven't seen it in any game before, in any MMORPG at least before. I haven't played them all, but I have played a lot of them. And yeah, I have one example of an imbuement item. Here it is. So you can see imbuement, the core of the matter, and the quest of the imbuement is collecting protector cores from XT9 protectors. And when I've done so, and I've collected enough of them, I will get the special, which is reduced burden. Actually, I don't know what reduced burden does, but you get the idea of how the imbuement works. And the imbuements start from low level items already have imbuements. Some of them gives 20 assault power, which is kinda huge for low level after you've done the quest, and some of them just give special effects. And this imbuement things keeps on going all the way to end game and all the way through raids and everything. You have raid gear with imbuements and whatnot, and I think it's a really cool system. Number 15, interrupting. Alright guys, this is a little bit bigger one, so yeah, bear with me. Interrupting, you have abilities that breaks, no, let's start with interrupt armors. Some targets have interrupt armor, which means that before that interrupt armor is breaking, they are immune to any type of CCs. Now, you have abilities that break CCs. For example, my gate here. As you can see, it says blink forward 20 meters and apply a stun to 5 foes. Stun prevents any action for 3.25 seconds. Destroy 1 interrupt armor. That's the important part. Destroy 1 interrupt armor. So targets have interrupt armor. For example, this guard have 24 interrupt armor, which means basically that he needs to be hit with an ability that has an interrupt, an ability that destroys an interrupt armor 24 times before the next CC actually applies to the target. So this is really useful to know. This will happen in dungeons all the time, and usually in dungeons when the bosses are not able to be CC'd, they will have an infinite mark instead of a number, like the infinite mark, which means infinite, and that means they are not CCable. So basically a good tip in dungeons is to just keep an eye on the interrupt armor. When it's infinity, it means that he's CC immune and that his boss fighting phase doesn't require even a CC. But when that infinity changes into a number, that means that most of the time in a boss encounter, it means that the boss needs to be interrupted now. So that's just a quick way to see when do you need to basically interrupt the boss in a dungeon. Just check his interrupt armor. If it's infinite, you cannot interrupt him. If it's a number, it means you can interrupt him. Especially if you see a number and number that starts going down, which means that your party is interrupting him, then you should be interrupting him. And you should really try to understand this mechanism, because that's one of the biggest reasons why groups wipe and people rage in dungeons, because people don't really understand the interrupt mechanism. And that's why I'm trying to teach it to you guys, so you get it, you understand it faster, and you get some dungeon clears way faster. Number 16, limited action set, also known as LAS. This is a pretty almost obvious advice, but I'm just gonna let you guys know. You have 2 ability sets, so you can have, for example, 1 DPS and 1 healing set, and you should definitely do that, especially when leveling. because you get easier dungeon queues, and that just means easier leveling and faster leveling. So yeah, you should definitely put one to DPS and one healing, and try to save up some healing and DPS gear, especially when leveling. And when you top level and you just decide that you only want to DPS, then you can focus like min maxing another type of DPS spec and another type of DPS spec. But basically this is just me letting you know right from the get-go that you have two limited action sets, so make the best use out of it, especially when leveling, so you can get into dungeons faster. Also, you can get more of these limited action sets later on with endgame currency. Number 17, main city teleport, so main city quest basically. This is an important one and you don't want to skip this one. When you go first time to your main city at about level 13, 14 or 15, you will get a quest in your main city to make a tour of your main city. And don't just rush to the next zone and just try to level up fast. Do that quest, because after doing that quest you will get a teleport to your main city, which will save you a lot of time, because you can have your main city teleport, and then you can use your own teleport to apply it anywhere in the world when you're questing, so you can have some efficient movement between your questing zone and also efficient movement between the main city and your questing zones. So yeah, definitely do that quest, don't skip it, it doesn't take long. It's actually, you just sit in like a hovercraft thing and it goes around your city. You can basically do the quest, go AFK and just come back. Number 18, movement. So this is absurdly basic tip and probably everyone knows this, but I'm just gonna let you know if you didn't know. In Wildstar you can move normally, jump normally, and you can also sprint with shift as default, and you can also dodge. And as default the dodge is bind to double tapping a movement key. But if you don't like that, like myself, you can disable that from the combat options. Double tap to dash. And then, of course, you don't have the dash anymore, you have to bind it somewhere else. So you go to your key bindings and you find directional dash. I have bind it to 1, so when I'm moving left and I press 1, it will dodge that way. And also Wildstar has double jump, and mounts can double jump too. Number 19, questing arrow. It's really helpful, but it's not always that obvious actually. I've heard a lot of people ask about it and didn't know about it. So you can click on your quest names in your quest tracker, and it will pop you up with a holographic arrow that shows you where you need to go. And that's extremely helpful for leveling, so yeah, you better use that all the time. Number 20, quest log / quest journal. So basically this is just a basic thing that I've been doing since every MMO, and I think it's useful, so I'm going to share it with you. And the basic thing is just keep your quest journal clean. Every time you leave one zone, you out-leveled it or something, or you're ready to move to the next zone, just clean it up, clean everything off from the next zone from your quest log, so it doesn't confuse you, it doesn't mess you around, it doesn't pop on your quest tracker or anything. And the only thing you have in your quest tracker and the only thing you have in your journal are the quests from the zone that you're right now. So there's no confusion, you know that every quest you have are in that zone somewhere. And yeah, that's really helpful, especially in Wildstar, because they keep spamming you with a shit ton of quests, a shit ton of tasks and whatnot. So it's really helpful to clean it up sometimes and not get overwhelmed. Number 21, rental mounts. So this is a feature a lot of people like, myself included, and you can get them around level 8, I believe. I'm not sure if I remember that correctly. Anyways, you will arrive to a new quest hub and you will get a quest that will introduce you to the quest hub, and at some point that quest will ask you to go to the mount rental guy. So don't just power through the quest and don't read or anything. When you reach that mount rental guy, or when you reach that quest and you remember this advice, keep an eye on the mount rental guy and remember to rent yourself a mount. It will save you a lot of trouble of running back and forth, doing a quest, returning a quest, doing a quest, returning a quest. So yeah, it's a really loved feature. Number 22, road movement speed. So this is a pretty funny one. In Wildstar, when you're running on the road, you actually get a running boost. You run faster on the road. As you can see, I'm running aside the road. I don't get a buff here. No buff, no nothing. And when I go on the road and I run, I get a buff, which is called road march. Road march. Traveling on the road increase your movement speed. So yeah, that's a pretty funny tip in my opinion. Number 23, character transfer. So for now, character transfer between PvP and PvE server is free, and you can transfer freely as long as you wait 7 days before doing it again. So basically there's a 7 days cooldown between character transfers. Other than that, it's free, it doesn't cost anything, and you can do it as many characters as you want. Number 24, telegraphs. Once again, this is a really good tip, really good tip. You can change the opacity, the color, and toggle on and off any telegraph in the game. You hit ESC and you go to combat, and then you go down and you can see all the telegraph options, from colors which you can change, and like disabling, enabling some sort of telegraphs, and just customize it the way you want it. Number 25, teleportation ships. So in Wildstar, teleportation happens with those spaceships, and the spaceships can be located in each faction's main city's spaceports. For example, Ilium, it's here. You can see spaceport Alpha, and Exile will have a similar type one, probably named differently. Anyways, every place you can go in Nexus, especially the other continent zones, are done via these spaceships, and you can find specific locations or specific ships by asking the city guards once again. So I can ask him for Blighthaven transport, or Malgrave transport, or even Whitevale transport. So yeah, that's how basically Wildstar transport across continents and bigger distances happens. Number 26, cross-faction auction house. So basically the Dominions and the Exiles use the same auction house. So potentially, if you want to transfer money from Dominion to Exile, you can say that the Exile put something to sell for an absurd price, like some junk